Okay, so we went to Austin's grandmother's house, the O'Vera's, Joseph O'Vera's mother's house in Magnolia, Texas. The white man who dropped me and Austin off there when he picked us up from Cynthia's house the day that he pulled the butcher knife on Cynthia, and he said Austin was going to slap me in the face in the street, so he gave us a ride. He dropped us off. He dropped me and Austin off in Magnolia, Texas, not too far from Cynthia's house in Magnolia, Texas on Amarillo Street at Joseph's mother's house. And she's an old lady, and her daughter takes care of her. She's there. Joseph O'Vera's sisters were there, and they had daughters, they had husbands, they had kids. And they were staying at the O'Vera's house, and then she was in the old wheelchair. The old grandmama was in the wheelchair, and we went over to her house, me and Austin, and he started knocking on the door, beating on the door, boom, 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 boom. He was like, "Grandma, Mom said I had to get out." Like he was trying to ask his auntie because the grandma was in a wheelchair. So her daughter, Joseph O'Vera's sister, came and answered. One of his sisters, because both of his sisters, I think, were there, came and answered the front door. Well, she came to the front door, but she didn't want to open the door for Austin. She didn't even want to open the door at all. And then so I was looking at Austin like, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable asking your grandmother, can we stay at her house? And I can pretty much, try to make it on my own. I don't feel comfortable." And he was like, "Come on, come on." And he started pushing me and stuff. And his aunts, one of his aunts called the police. She called the Montgomery County Police Department, and they showed up, and she still didn't open the door. She said that she didn't feel comfortable. She didn't feel safe. She didn't like how he treated Cynthia. She said that he was always being mean. She said that he was violent, and that she didn't want to let him inside the home because he was violent with Cynthia. And so she didn't open up the front door, and she saw him being violent with me when I was walking off, saying that I didn't want to ask the grandmother I didn't feel that was appropriate for us two grown people to be trying to stay at his grandmother's house. And I know we're getting very close to what's going on because they're getting very wicked. And I'm getting close to Bernard's house. And they think that these gang members are going to stop me from telling y'all, but they have demons. And that's why they are trying to stop me from telling y'all. And they think that they're going to try to hurt me before I can get this video out. And they watching my video, but Jehovah deliver me, because all I got to do is get my bag from this Bernard place and hope that this 81 from this Marta place don't try to not come again and leave me stuck places with gang members trying to kill me. But anyway, so let me finish telling y'all. So I told Austin I don't feel, and was in Magnolia, Texas, at Joseph O'Vera's mother's house, and it was his mother's house and his two sisters. So and they were older. They weren't young women. They were like older women, and they did look funny. And I do know that they are witches now, and they did look like that. And Austin, I said when he showed up to CJ and Stephania's house, I was like this. I was like, it seemed like when he asked me to come in, it felt like he was the devil. And I was like, it seems like he's just trying to ruin me from being able to have somewhere to stay at Stephania's house, because he asked me, could I sneak him through the window at Stephania's home after CJ introduced me, and he asked me would I go out with him at the park. We went for a walk from Stephania's house. He asked me would I be his girlfriend. Austin did. I told him yeah, because we talked about it for a while, and I was telling him no at first, and then he said he was clean off the meth, and he started looking better. We started going out, and then he asked me to sneak him in the day we started going out, and then he started stealing stuff, and he was still on the drug. And then so back to the mother's house. Well, the police showed up. The Montgomery County police showed up in front of Cynthia O'Vera's house. I mean, not Cynthia O'Vera's house. They showed up at Cynthia O'Vera's house when he pulled the butcher knife on her. And the same day that he pulled the butcher knife on Cynthia O'Vera, the police were called to Joseph O'Vera's home because Austin John Metter he was hitting, he was like being violent with me in front of Joseph Overis. In front of Joseph Overis. And can you please stop? Can you please go right now? Just go right now. Leave and go. He was in front of Joseph Overis' mother's home. And they called the police. One of Joseph Overis' sisters called the police the same day that Austin pulled the butcher knife out on Cynthia. And they called for him hitting me. And Austin John Metter was not charged by the Montgomery County Jail from Cynthia Overis' home when he pulled the butcher knife on her, and he was not charged for being violent with me in front of his. He was just shoving and stuff, like pushing and assaulting me. And his auntie called from Joseph Overis' side, his adopted father, and it was not like a regular protocol. The officer was like, well, if I see, he was like, why are you hitting her? And he was like, oh, because she's about to leave me and I don't want nobody fucking my girl. That's what he told her. I mean, that's what he told the officer. And the officer was like, oh, okay, well, I understand. And then he was like, well, if I get another call that you out here, hitting on your girlfriend, he was like, then I'm going to take you to jail when I come back, if I have to come back and hear about that again. And then he was like, okay. And then so me and Austin walked off, and let me see what happened after me, because we ended up together having a baby, and it's like people are abusing me for my child and trying to erase my entire life. And my stomach is hurting right now because I'm pregnant with Austin's baby, and they've been ritually abusing me this entire time. And I haven't seen Austin since 2018 when I shot him in the leg for abusing me. And I told them everything, and they've been abusing me. And now I have to sit there and remember piles of what these gang members are doing for Cynthia and Joseph Overa and Austin, and I know why. And when I tell y'all why, when I get down here, y'all gonna see why it's gonna be very hard for me to make it out of here alive. All right, Father God, I'm gonna go ahead and try to post this video, and then I'm gonna continue on with the next one, and they're gonna continue to keep squirming around because they're child molesters and they're Satanists, and they know why I'm putting out this information about my baby.